What is going on, everybody? It's MrAeroHD here, and again, usually late on Mondays, but we're back doing Ask Aero with my fucking crooked ass-looking glasses. Actually, no, it's just because my head tilts because I'm... No, they are crooked. They are indeed crooked. I'm fucking going crazy. Anyway, trying out new mic settings today. I'm a little bit closer. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. I'm just trying to get it a little bit better. Maybe you should just up that a little bit. Just a little bit. But, of course, we'll be doing all the questions I've received so far. It says I have 24 of them. So if you haven't got yours in, then I apologize, but you'll be next. This asked, what do you think of the Forza Fuel and the Forza Horizon 2 Community Day that was recently held? I feel like they were never planning to do that Community Day until they went, oh crap, we're getting a lot of heat for Forza Fuel and not really inviting it, other than Mango, but Mango wasn't, as far as I know, was not on the show at all. He was just, in the background. So as far as I know, there was no actual Forza YouTubers. I mean, Vintage Beef was there, but I don't think Vintage Beef is like a dedicated Forza or car game YouTuber. So they got a lot of heat for that, and I was part of that heat. I don't think it was very cool. I understand why they did it. They did it just to promote their game, but I feel like, Microsoft, because it was just Microsoft, but I feel like Microsoft could have picked one of us. You know what I mean? Not specifically me. I've said that a couple times. My channel's way too small compared to the bigger guys. But like Tomcat. Tomcat's got a big channel. Why not pick him? Why was, he's got, I think, the same size channel or similar size channel of Fearcrads. Fearcrads went. Why not Tomcat? What's wrong with that? It would have been a really good addition, in my opinion. Just to have one of us there, you know what I mean? A lot of people were saying it may have been like overpowered or not fair compared to like other YouTubers that don't know about cars. Why invite them? They sit there like, this is kind of cool. It's a blue car, yeah. Would you rather hear that as a Forza fan, or would you rather hear, yes, I know all about this Lamborghini Aventador. It's the 700 horsepower V12. We'd rather someone at least knows a little bit what they're talking about, or just a complete, you know what I mean? It's kind of stupid. And I bet you they paid those people. I bet you people like Smosh Games, and it wasn't even Smosh that went, it was some dude I've never heard of. Smosh Games, fucking Fearcrads, people like that. I bet you they were paid on top of having their whole trip paid for on the way out there, which is stupid. If they said, hey, Aero, you want to go on a trip across Europe, all expenses paid, yeah, I'd do it for free. I wouldn't ask for money on top of that, but I guarantee you they got paid on top of that. But I feel the Community Day was a good bounce back. It's disappointing that they can only do it in the UK, but their offices are only in the UK. It would have been nice to have some of us out there, but again, nothing you can do about that, just unfortunate. I hope that they do more of them, that's all I have to say. But it looks like ever since Forza Fuel got a lot of backlash, Turn 10 is doing a lot, not specifically Turn 10, but the devs and the community directors are doing a lot to get back on the good side of the community, which is a good step, because I think with Forza 5 and Forza Fuel, it felt like they were turning into another Microsoft subsidiary. Because Forza, Turn 10 and Forza had always felt different. It's like, yeah, this is owned by Microsoft, but they haven't really gotten into the cheesy Microsoft practices yet. And then microtransactions started, removing cars from the game that felt like they were going to be in the game, but then removed for DLC. So I think that with Forza Horizon 2 so far, and then that Community Day, and I mean at its core Forza Fuel, they're trying to get back to the community, say, hey, we see you, we care. Thank you for your question, sir. But what car would you pick for Formula D if you were starting to drift in Formula D? Any car, but there is a catch, it has to be engine swapped. I mean, if you look right now, S14 with a V8 in it, Odie Bakshis, or S14 swapped with anything. Odie Bakshis, Darren McNamara, Kenny Moen, three really strong, Matt Field, even Matt Powers too. S14 V8 minus Kenny Moen with the 2JZ. Really, really, really strong chassis, it seems. A lot of aftermarket support. A lot of people know what they're doing with it, so I'd have to go with the S14. As for the engine, I'd go probably 2JZ. I know that's not very original, but I would definitely go with that over the V8. So now, next question is a YouTube question. I have it sitting up ready to go here. It looks kind of cool, but I'm not going to sit here and watch all these videos just for the sake of this question. I apologize. My first impressions of this is because, do you know this series Ruosk Roges Prep Your Sleigh on YouTube? If you don't know, you should check it out. It looks cool from the thumbnails. I'll give it a watch, and see what I like. If you guys want to do a follow-up question next week, let's go for it. But at this time, I have not watched it, and I'm not planning on it. AskAero59, are you a real super sand lesbian from Carrot? Yes, you caught me. I am the sandiest of lesbians. Fucking people. Just remove these two. Three really stupid questions, but not even questions, just statements. Can Americans understand D-Mac's accent? Sorry. I hear him on the stream all the time or whatever in interviews. He sounds fine. Like, an Irish accent is not very thick. At least the ones I've heard. I think the Scottish accent's the one a little bit more difficult to understand. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, no, as far as I know, there's no problems understanding him or Dean or any other Irish drifter. Tips for a competent drifter switching to manual with clutch in Forza 5. Clutch all the time. Anytime you press a button, basically, that isn't gas or brake, you need to clutch. So handbrake, shifting, anything. And it's worth putting in the time. I was very skeptical at first when the first game with clutch came in. I was like, I don't really want to do this. I don't really like the idea of fucking clutch. I've already put so much time and effort into learning. Why would I learn it again with clutch? But now that I know how to use it with clutch, I wouldn't go any other way. You don't have to run as much power. If you're losing drift mid-corner, it's not a big deal. You just press one button and the clutch kick is a godsend. So when you put in it might take you a couple minutes, may take you a couple hours, who knows, it's different for everybody, but it's definitely worth it. What do you think about that Chris Evans guy replacing Jezza? Hashtag pray for Jezza. So you guys don't know, if you are avid Top Gear watchers, it's going to be very easy to explain, and if you're not, then you're going to be out of the loop here. A guy named Chris Evans, I believe he's a radio DJ on BBC Radio 2. So he's a talk show host, and for whatever reason, he gets paid astronomical amounts of money for what he does. And they featured him on my Top Gear a couple times. They featured him on other shows. The guy has very interested in cars, and has a very, very big repertoire of vehicles. I think he's got one of the most rare Ferraris in the world, paid 20 million or 15 million pounds, which is $30 million for it. I don't know the exchange rate, I'm just guessing off the top of my head when I've heard off Top Gear. But apparently, because if you don't understand, Jeremy Clarkson's been in the news for he's always been in the news, but apparently his antics were getting a bit too much for the BBC. He said something racist that got edited out of a show months and months and months ago, where he dropped the N-bomb, which is, I personally think it's kind of stupid. But then there was another thing where he was making a joke about they were building a bridge, and there was something about the bridge has, I forget what the racist term was, I won't say it, but I don't even remember what it was. But then there's two racist things that came out very close to each other, and BBC was talking about getting rid of Clarkson's contract, but I believe he signed back on for at least another 3 years. So they're talking about getting this Chris Evans dude, but I heard from Clarkson and Chris Evans, they did official statements saying that it's not true, that there's no plans to replace him anytime soon. Let's just run with it here and say that they're just covering the rumors and it's actually true. I'm not watching Top Gear without Clarkson. Clarkson makes that show what it is. He's the strongest, in my opinion, strongest personality on that show. I would do the same thing, like if they took Hammond out or James out for whatever reason. I'm like, whatever, I don't really care anymore. That show needs the three of them or will not work. If you look at other Top Gears, Top Gear US, the only reason it does shit compared to the Top Gear UK. I bet you if you looked at the ratings, it's like I don't think it does very bad because it keeps getting renewed for more seasons. And at least as far as I know, three funny dudes in their own right. Rutledge Wood was on Speed TV for a long time, really entertaining guy. Tanner Faust, one of the best American drivers in the world. That is the most redundant thing. One of the best drivers in the States, period. To ever come out of the States in like recent years. Guy can drive anything, rally, anything. Watch him race, even in global rallycross. The guy dominates almost every time he's out there and doesn't have a mechanical problem. Adam Carolla's kind of funny, from what I've seen of him. Apparently, in the back of my head, I feel like there's some reason why I shouldn't like him, for some reason. But the three of them together just don't work because they try way too hard to be like the UK guys, and it just doesn't work for me. I know a lot of people like that show and will stand by it, but I mean, I feel like they're just recycling the personalities from the UK one, and I feel like if they put Chris Evans in there, Chris Evans would try too hard to be Jeremy Clarkson and would absolutely ruin the show. So yeah, that's my think about that. So thank you, sir, for sending them that question. What do you think about the Mazda 6 MPS? And then he has the listed parts that I guess he's either done or planning on doing. I like Mazdas. I do like Mazdas. Looking up the specific model, as far as I know, the Mazda 6, yeah, it's a nice looking car. Nothing wrong with it, no complaints. It's basically like the Mazda version of what I have, which is a Honda Accord. All-wheel drive. He's got all-wheel drive turbo, from what I see. Nothing wrong with that, dude. I'm always one, as long as you don't race it out, and from what I can read what he has done to it, it's not. Just treat it right. You only have one car. Well, at least most of us do. Some of us have no cars at all, so just respect what you have. Peaches or pears? Different. I like peaches, but after quick story, I don't want to sit here and waste your time, but I went to Atlanta, as most of you know, for Formula Drift in May, and I went to an after party, and they all knew I was Canadian, and nobody knew who I was, right? So they just went I don't know if it was just like they're trying to clown on me, but I'm pretty sure it was all in good fun. This guy brings up like a little mason jar of moonshine. He's like, "You want a drink?" I was like, yeah, right? So I had a little shot of like this peach moonshine. It was delicious. It wasn't, people made up moonshine to be this super strong thing. Like, oh, don't drink it. It's gonna like tear your throat apart. I was like, fuck that, man. It was great. He goes, have one of the peaches that's been fermenting in this jar. And I was already drunk at this point, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. When in Rome. So I ate one of these peaches, and I was like, it was my entire mouth was tingling. It's so bad. I only ate half of it, and I couldn't eat the other half. I don't really have a super high alcohol tolerance, but I was not ready for the amount of liquor that was inside this little slice of peach. I've been turned off peaches for a while, so I'd have to go with pears over that. I just wanted to explain why. It's a cute little story. What's your opinion on the Hyundai Genesis? I actually like the Genesis a lot. I feel like it will be like a 350Z in a couple years. Cheap, rear-wheel drive. I feel like it's just a bigger engine FRS at this point. I don't like the new one. The new one, they absolutely fucking killed it. They ruined it. The Genesis was, like a nice sports coupe, much like the FRS, but it had the V6 in it, a bit beefier. It was like, it looked like they were trying to make it compete with like the lower end sports coupes. It was no M3 killer, but it was like 350Z, 370Z, and it looked good, sounded good. I never driven one, of course, but there was nothing wrong with it. Hyundai used that to base a motorsports program, got into motorsports, Formula Drift or whatever, and then they just fucking shat on it this year. They turned it into, it looks like a really boring four-door for old people. Like, they just ruined it. It looks like It looks like a base model Cadillac. It's just a snooze fest, and it's a disappointment because I think they had a really good platform. You know, the Tiburon was good for the most part. The Genesis could have been great, and then they just went all in with the Veloster and the i20 for their motorsports program, and it's like, Genesis, whatever, we don't care. I feel like that was a mistake, but I'm not in marketing. I can't control these things. What do you know about truncation error? Dude, I am not a math guy. There's a reason I'm in journalism and English, and I write things, because I don't math. I got fucked. I was super decent. I was good in math, like, all through elementary school. Grade 8, I had, like, 80s and 90s in math. And then I got to grade 9. They called it foundations, because that's what it was. So basically, they said what you learn in grade 9 sets you up for 10, 11, and 12 math. At least in our curriculum where we were. So I had a really shitty teacher in grade 9. Like, a really shitty teacher. Other people have had good experiences with this person. I did not. Basically, the way they taught was come into class. Our class was about an hour and a half. So come into class and go, did everybody do the homework last night? Any questions? No? Good. Okay, here's today's lesson. And today's lesson would be condensed into about 20 or 30 minutes. And it's like hardcore stuff, you know? It's like some serious mathematics for like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. So, like, okay, done. Any questions? No. Okay, here's 40 questions to practice. And like, you ask questions, she goes, I just teached you that. Why didn't you take notes? It's like, I did. What do you want me to do? You know? So I fell behind in that and just never, and I did really bad that first year. And then I just could not, you know, make up from it. Which kind of sucks, so I'm just not, I don't know anything about math, dude, sorry. What are your plans for Forza Horizon 2, video collabs, new series, etc.? I explained it all very detailed in a stream. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern, and there was no hype for it at all. I just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So if you missed it, it's on Twitch somewhere. I don't know if those plans are still a go, because I may have a lot less time than I thought I would, but collabs is going to be really whenever they happen, they happen. I don't like to plan out collaborations and say, oh, we're going to do videos with this guy or these people, and then they just don't happen or just don't pan out. You know, and I never really have time to do collabs anyways. That's not because I don't want to. I do. It's just I don't like wasting people's time. Like, I don't want to tell Fail Race, like, hey, yeah, I'll be on at this time and this date, and then something comes up, and like, I can't be on, we'll do this, and then we're rescheduling, and then, you know, the video never happens. So I'd rather do something where I know for sure, like, this is going to happen at this date and this time, which is very rare. As for videos, Forza Horizon 2 is going to get a lot of love, and if the game meets the hype that it's at for me right now, it will continue to get a lot of love. But I won't forget about the motorsports, though Forza Motorsport 4 may be taking a back seat. I know a lot of you guys on 360 may give me shit for that, but you know, we're a year into Forza 5 now almost. I've been supporting Forza 4 off and on for a year, so I feel like I've done my duty. You know, you guys on 360 are still getting your love. It's not going to completely go away for Forza 4, but it definitely will be pushed back in terms of priorities. So yeah, thank you for your question, sir and or madam. How much could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Funny question. I already answered it. Go fuck yourself. I tried to get that straight face. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I already answered that ages ago. I think it was a while ago. But Le Mans Tudor Sports Car Championship or NASCAR. I like everything in its own. When it comes to motorsports, I'm just a fan. I don't follow any specific series like tight. You know, I don't know all the drivers for every series. I think the best one I would know off the top of my head is NASCAR, because that's what I used to follow until I, you know, smartened up. So NASCAR is fun to watch highlights. It's one of those. I don't think I'd ever sit down and watch a whole NASCAR race beginning to end unless it was on a road course, because that shit's hilarious. Or some short course, or you know, like short tracks like Bristol or something. That'd be fun to watch. I would never in my life go to a NASCAR race at all. It just does not interest me to sit there for 4 hours and for like 2.5 hours of those 4, nothing happens but them going around in circles and the occasional passes. When they're racing in big packs really tight, it is exciting. So I usually, when I'm watching NASCAR like on TV, again excluding the road courses, I'll usually watch the last like 50 laps or so. That's when all the shit happens, and they'll still like take you back to see if you missed anything, and then I'll watch it on YouTube or NASCAR.com or something. They usually have like a wrap up or highlights or something like that. Tudor and Le Mans, again, endurance races, I just, I'm not going to sit down and watch the whole thing. But again, highlights, definitely. I'm definitely more interested in the GT racing than I am like NASCAR and oval, but I'm just a fan. I don't specifically follow anything. I just like everything. Are you going to cut off that mop? I was always saying whenever I got new glasses, because my other glasses were so broken. I feel like this is somebody who knows me in real life who said this. But whenever in real life, like, cut your hair, it's so long, because I just have like the fucking 2006 emo swoop that I just never got rid of. A lot of people tell me to cut my hair, and I'm just like, no, my glasses are messed up. I had 2 different colored arms, and my glasses were super broken, so I was using my hair to hide the fact that I had different colored arms. I got new glasses now, but I just don't know what to do with my hair yet. I have so many ideas. I'm stuck with it, like if I get a short haircut that's cut to here, like in 2 months it's grown out again, so it's not a big deal. But if I get my hair cut as short as I want it to get it cut, like something like where this is like I'm not hiding my hair under a hat, I'm fucked. If I don't like it, I'm fucked. I'm fucked with that for a couple months. So I'm deciding, but it's gonna happen probably before my parents come for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, so like October-ish. So soon. Prepare your butts for me with like normal people hair. Thank you for that. Hi Aero, what's the most embarrassing thing you ever had happen to you? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Thanks. I tell so much embarrassing shit. It just does not bother me at all to say something that happened to me that was embarrassing. I told stories on streams of like me crapping my, I don't think I crapped my pants, I think I pissed myself once. I've told that. Stories that happened to me drunk. I was at a party and like I was running around throwing up everywhere and swimming in a pool, no pants on, like no clothes on, and like passed out on the floor. I've had so much embarrassing stuff happen to me that I've told. I can't really think of one off the top of my head. Well, I can, but I'm not immortalizing that in video. This is the one I thought of on the top of my head. It's one of, but I don't really like to think about what the most embarrassing one was, because I just don't let this shit bother me anymore. Basically, I was in grade 8, and if anyone knows when you're in grade 8, that's when like prime puberty girl liking happens, and I had this super crush on some girl. I had a crush on her since grade 6, and I didn't tell her, and I didn't tell anybody. So it was like 2 years of my life that I just was totally into somebody who I'm pretty sure was not into me that way. I think we were buds. And I'm pretty sure the only reason that I liked her was because we had the same taste in music. I was an idiot kid. But we were in gym class, and this is back when I was fat. Like, I used to be 4'4" and like 140 pounds. I was a size like 38 waist. I was a big boy. So I was very conscious of my body and my weight and all that stuff. So we were in the gym change room, the boys' change room. The girls are done. They're waiting for us. I guess we were playing something, and we were in there late. So I'm off to the corner. I'm in my underwear, getting my I take my shorts off, whatever, put my pants back on. This fucking guy thought it'd be real funny, in tandem with another dickhead that I don't like, to open the door to the change room. And while they do that, he pantsed me and then pushed me, and because my boxers were around my ankles, I fell. So I fell into the view of not only all the girls in my class, but the one girl that I liked. Just big old white fat 12-year-old booty right in front of them at the foot of this door. Thankfully they didn't see my Peter. If they saw my Peter, my life would be fucking over. But it was just booty. That was bad. That was a bad day for me. Wow, that was awful. But yeah, no, I don't even know what happened to that girl. I haven't spoken to her in years, which is weird. It's funny how that shit works out, how big of a deal you think it is at the time, and it just isn't. La Ferrari, Porsche 918, or McLaren P1. It's a tough call. I love all three of them. I think I like the LaFerrari the least because it's a little chintzy from Ferraris they kind of look chintzy and fragile. 918 may be a little cold to me. I don't know if it's because all the pictures I've seen it in, it's in silver. The P1 is, I think, the best out of all of them, more through the process of elimination. I think mechanically the 918 and the P1 are very similar, but I just kind of like the styling of the P1. It's not even better looking, I don't think. I think it's just, I respect that they went off the wall with the styling. Like, if you look at the back of the thing, it's just funky. You know, there's nothing, it's not good or bad, it's just funky. So I picked the P1. That, and I think that's the only one out of the three of them that's rear-wheel drive. I think the Porsche's 4 or all-wheel drive, and I'm not sure if the LaFerrari is at all. I'm not positive. But what was the worst game that you've ever played? Holy Jesus. There's some bad ones. Lowrider or Pimp My Ride and Lowrider for PS2, pretty awful. Those are of course car games. What was a really bad game? I don't know. It's kind of hard to make a bad game when you're making racing games. Then all the new Need for Speeds are pretty awful, pretty terrible. Worst game I've ever played. I don't know. I kind of just know to stay away from bad games, but I've never really had a game where I've played and I've just been like, I cannot fucking stand this. This is bad. I have to stop. You know, other than Call of Duties, but like, how interesting would it be to say, yeah, God Ghosts is the worst game I've ever played? Oh, you know, I'm trying to put a little bit more thought into it than that. Looking at my wall. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll have to go with those two PS2 games I mentioned. You know, because every other game I've ever played, like, this is bad, but, you know, this is not very good, but those two PS2 games are ones I rented, and, like, the ones I brought them back the same day. They're awful games. iPhone thoughts. I don't give a shit. I have an iPhone 5. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. I'm just kind of scared because everyone says iOS is like a steaming pile, or iOS 8 is a steaming pile of shit. So I'm trying to avoid iOS 8 as much as possible. I cannot avoid it forever, though. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not interested in paying like another $300 to get the same phone with like 2 extra features and then bigger. You know, and same way for Android. Like this, my iPhone 5 works for me. I have very little problems with it, so I'm not bothered. Would you suck a dick to prove that you're not gay? What an oxymoron. Stupid. What a stupid thing to ask. Maybe. How's that for a fucking answer? You know, you're gonna call me gay either way, so why don't I just say maybe? I'm in the middle. Fuck you. Do you wish there was a bigger nationwide drift competition in Canada versus DMCC? You're goddamn right. As far as I know, there's 2 DMCCs, or at least there used to be, East and West. I wish we had a Formula D Canada. I've been preaching that for years. Like, not one event, but I mean like 4 or 5 events, go tracks across Canada, and then take the winner of those and throw them into Formula D US. Right now, when we have Canadians that come in, it's just from DMCC East. There's no Western guys, I don't think. You know, I think there was Ian Fournier at one point, but there's not a whole lot of guys from out west that have that chance. There's not a whole lot of guys from... It's just guys from the East and from Quebec, basically. So basically only Quebec drifters, with I think the exception of Dave Briggs and Mats Baribeau. He's French as shit, but he's from the Ottawa area. So basically only Quebecers are getting a chance to show themselves, or at least people that have means to go to Quebec. So if you live like anywhere west of Ontario, go fuck yourself. You know, there's too bad. You're never going to get there. So I don't think that's very fair. That'd be interesting to see other tracks than like the same 3 that they run in DMCC. I think there's like 3 or 4 different ones. They go to St. Eustache like 3 times. So yeah, that'd be super cool. It'd be super cool. What game and movie do you think has the best soundtrack? I'm gonna skip movie basically because I'm not as big of a movie buff. I'm not as big of a movie buff as I am a game. I'm gonna do 2 categories because I already have 2 games in mind. I'm gonna do 2 categories for games. but keep them limited to real life music, and then original music, and I can keep it racing. So original music, by far and away the best originally composed racing game I've ever played was F-Zero X. By far and away the best thing. Just go back and listen to it. A lot of really good original stuff, and that still holds up today. Like, there's a guitar arrange where they basically just did all the music, but on electric guitars and like with instruments. Absolutely fucking wonderful. When it comes to like actual music, Forza Horizon's really good. I don't know why everyone complains. Horizon 1 was a bit dull with the 3 stations. Horizon 2 looks to be very good so far, but Burnout 3 is probably my favorite soundtrack. Basically just for nostalgia value and, a lot of music I used to listen to as a kid and a young teen. I love you, Winky Face. I don't know. What was your favorite drift team on Forza and in real life? Can I say my own? When I was coming up in the Forza ranks, I always wanted to be on Smoke and Flow, and if anyone's been around since like Forza 2, you guys know who Smoke and Flow was. I wanted to be on that team, Blackjack to me was not an attainable goal. DIS to me was not an attainable goal. So I wanted, Smoke and Flow. That was my team. I was like, those guys look like really chill dudes. They put out really good videos. I have to ask Carlos if I can upload one of our old videos. But by end of Forza 2, beginning of Forza 3, I had the opportunity. I jumped ship from where I was. Actually, no, I didn't jump ship. I was kicked off the team for calling them out on their bullshit. It's funny. I was on an old team. I'm going to call them out too. I don't give a fuck. I was on an old team called Blackout. Basically, a lot of people gave them shit because they thought they were a Blackjack clone. But whatever. That is totally not true. Basically, they got into a big kerfuffle with DIS and Blackjack, where basically they were shit talking them behind their backs, and blah 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 blah, and just no respect at all. It doesn't even matter how big these other teams are. You don't even hear about DIS was a quote, I remember, and then we got stomped in a battle, and I was talking with, I don't think it was DIS, but I think it was just on the forums. I was like, why the fuck would we even like start shit? That's just so pointless and stupid. And then like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, you're not on the team anymore. I was like, whatever. So what I did was I challenged the leader to a battle and won. That got the attention of Smoke and Flow. They said, we like what you're doing. That was badass. You call people out in their shit, and then when you get shit for it, you say, fuck that, I'm not putting up with that, we like that, do you want a spot on our team? And I said yeah, and after a couple hanging out with them for a bit, I was on there. I like to think that I was one of the better members. I was in the middle skill wise. Probably some of the best drifters I've ever played with. Really, really cool dudes. We battled for a bit, but then just kind of scaled back to being like a video team. And before the Forza 3 video got out, everyone just kind of broke up. The team broke up. There was another one that came out, Smoke and Flow clone, with a bunch of people who were always wanted to be on it, I guess, and just picked the name back up again. And then after that, the name was kind of not as what it used to be. But anybody from Forza 2 days, knows who Smoke and Flow was, at least should have, or SNF. Favorite team though that I've never been on, absolutely without a question, has to be DIS. Blackjack was cool, but I always felt like they were like those super intimidating guys. DIS was not like that. They were always on the forums, always super nice guys. I talk to Boppins from DIS a lot now. Super nice guy, unbelievably nice. They're just, DS was always willing to help people. I always thought Blackjack, no offense if somehow Landon found this video, but I always thought they were like really intimidating and very like scary to talk to when you see them in lobbies. DIS, it was like they were almost the same skill level in my opinion, but they didn't have that like, oh my god, I have to be the best around these guys. DIS was like a little bit more, you got that, but the guys were like a little bit more relaxing and calm and like, hey man, what's going on, in real life, I don't really have a favorite team. I guess Achilles. I like everyone on Achilles. Even though I'm a big Falcon supporter, I don't really like anybody on Team Falcon other than McNamara. But yeah, if I had to go with the team, I'd go with Team Achilles in Formula D. Just thinking off the top of my head. And that's it Only took us 34 minutes. Shocking. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions you'd like to submit next week, please get them on ask.fm/MrAeroHD. You can ask questions any time of the week through until next week. You can even, on a plane, on a train, I don't know where I was going with that, but you can ask them anytime you want. You don't need an account. You can ask them anonymously. You can ask them not anonymously. You do what you want, and they will be answered next week. So thank you guys very much, and take care. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I also have a Facebook and a Twitter. For those links, be sure to check out the description box below.